So I talked to you guys yesterday on PKN. We're doing the show early Wednesday instead of Thursday about the home improvement stuff I'm dealing with. And those, for the people who don't listen to PKN or aren't part of the Patreon, number one, get it together.
Yeah,
join,
right?
Throw some support to the show. We appreciate it. Basically,
this project's getting out of hand. We need you in the Patreon.
We need you. We need you guys, like the Helldivers soldiers. That's what we need. Our own little propaganda ministry. But yesterday, basically, or this week rather, they started on my egress window, which is like the shit you need in your basement so that you can crawl out in case you're burning alive, because everywhere in America is like, oh, you should have another way to escape if there's a fire other than running through a flaming stairs. And it's like ridiculous. I would run right through it.
You need an egress window, one that's built to leave to what? Add a bed? No, declare it as bedrooms for.
Yes.
Sell it.
Yeah. I can't count any of the finished basement area as square footage if I resell unless this window's in. Okay. And every other fucking contractor has been showing up when they say, getting the jobs done when they say, and the egress people have had me delayed for a while. And they finally came out this week, and they spent the first day digging out a gigantic egress hole. And it had to be gigantic because whoever owned my house before me or built it put like 5.5 foot wide windows in the basement. So that now the hole has to be fucking enormous in order to accommodate that, because the only other alternative was like adding rebar and repouring the foundation to make the window narrower. And even when the foundation guy was mentioning that as a possibility, he was like grimacing, and I'm like, so this isn't what you would do? And he's like, absolutely not. That would be a nightmare.
So the hole has to be. Do you escape from all these windows now? Is that what you're saying?
You have to be able to escape from this window. Like the regulations are like from one of them. Yep. You need one egress, one way to escape from a fire or something other than the stairs. And so they dig this, and the hole has to be like a foot or something wider on both sides of the window on the outside, and like a foot deeper than the base of the window. And so it was a bigger hole than I was expecting. I sent a picture to Kyle in our chat, and he was like, you should make a fish tank out of this. You should put liner in it and then raise catfish. And it's like, yes, my HOA would love that. And so they dug that hole, and then they were supposed to carve out that giant fucking chunk of foundation, and 80% through, they come up to me after I heard a noise, a racket that didn't sound like turning off the machine. I'd heard them turn off and on the machine all day, and this was not a turn off machine. It was a failure. And then they came up and were like, oh, our saw blade broke. We need another one. So we're going to leave. And when I told this to Woody on PKN, like I just thought like, oh, rats. But Woody's like, you bring one saw? Your job is to cut. Like,
dude, as an amateur woodworker, I've got like 11 different saw blades for different situations. These fucking artists have one saw blade to their
What are they sawing through concrete?
Yeah, it's through the foundation because it has to go deeper.
That's an expensive blade, but they should definitely have more than one. And Home Depot could. Here's why that frustrates me, and I hate this when somebody's doing something and they quit in the middle of it. Because like growing up, when we had projects around the farm or even around the house, we rarely called for a plumber or an electrician, only when there were computers involved. And it's like, you can't quit in the middle of this project. If the saw blade breaks, we're going to Home Depot. If Home Depot is closed, we are driving to another town. If that's not an option, we are calling our friends. We're like calling people in the area. Hey, don't you have a diamond saw? Don't you have a blade? How about I come by and get that thing, and I'll bring you a brand new one tomorrow when Home Depot's open. You get it done. I can't imagine stopping in the middle of a job. And if somebody's paying me,
they could.
Whenever I'm being paid by somebody to do a thing, I don't want to let them down. I don't want to be that guy. And I can't imagine someone who's a contractor who's depending on Google reviews and page results and stuff like that to like dick around. Because I'm gonna tell you, if I were you, after this project we're done, I'd write a lengthy review, just being 100% honest. Like, and then they only brought one blade, and it broke, and then 2 weeks went by, and then a month went by. Like I don't get it. I don't know how they stay in business.
It's infuriating, and literally the reason I went with this company is because I had a couple different foundation. Because it turns out the people who do egress stuff into your foundation are all also foundation companies. And so I like looked, I got some quotes, and they were all not that far apart. And this one just had the higher rating. And so it wasn't like a big
not for long,
not for long, but we'll see. The people are so nice. I don't want to be mean. But basically they carved
race are
in, they quit. They're white guys.
I'll be nice to you while I fuck you too, Taylor.
Oh, something new. Yeah.
Anyway,
And they cut into it. They say, oh, our blade broke. And as they're leaving yesterday, they're like, also, so yes, or tomorrow we're going to have to come and finish this cut and we'll put the window in, but we have another job. And so we're not going to be able to do the retaining wall on this enormous pit we've dug. And we're not going to be able to do the sump pump, because every egress is supposed to have its own independent sump pump to take care of things and get the water out of there. And I was like annoyed. And then they came back this morning. I had a productive conversation with my resident experts, Woody and Kyle on PKN. And then they came, and you guys are much more, or at least from what you're saying, you seem to be more willing to be combative with like these contractors. But I've worked B2C and B2B customer service roles before. Thousands of calls I've dealt with that. And so I always handle it differently because I empathize with the people who don't actually have anything to do with your problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they came by today, it was probably 8:30 this morning. They came in, they were heading down to my basement. And I was like, hey, before you guys go down there, yesterday you said you wouldn't be able to you'd finish the window and get it sealed, waterproofed, all that stuff, but you wouldn't be able to handle getting the retaining wall in or the sump pump. And, I know this isn't on you guys at all, but this was initially scheduled for like 6 weeks ago. And I've had to reschedule plumbers, electricians, all sorts of stuff around this. It's become a real ordeal. And I get it. Like, you guys aren't scheduling this. It's not on you. But when you tell me, or the owner of your company, when I signed the contract, told me this would be a 2-day job by the end of August. And then that turns into a 3-day job, and then I don't see him anymore. And he has you guys telling me now it's a 4-day job spread over 2 weeks. Like, this is really kind of getting a bit ridiculous. And the Taylor tip for customer service, anything from someone, handling a credit card complaint on your behalf, all the way to mechanic, contractor, you have 3 best friend words, folks. That's unacceptable. That's unprofessional. And in rare occasions, it's unsafe. It depends.
You had me stuck. I'm like, that's unacceptable. I need a third word.
Yeah. It's good. That's how you do it, because in your head, you always have to frame these things not as like, too many people go into customer service or whatever complaints with mechanics, contractors, with the idea of, I'm trying to leave this conversation a winner and thereby they should be the loser. No. The goal is to get to your desired end as rapidly as possible. And that means keeping the people who are doing the work on your side as much as is possible. So it's you guys against a third party, against a scheduler, against an owner. It's not you coming down on them because now they don't like you. You don't want that. It's all about framing this. So I told them, oh, you guys aren't handling the scheduling, but you probably didn't know this. It's been really delayed. And now I'm really concerned because it's going to rain multiple times in the next couple of weeks. I checked. I didn't check. I have no idea. They don't know either, though. And, there's this giant pit outside. And so, I just got to tell you, it would be really unprofessional if by the end of the day, the window wasn't done. And I totally understand you can't get the retaining wall done, but the sump pump, like that 100% has to be done today, because when it rains, I don't want all of this active work to immediately be hamstrung by the fact that this is flooded. So, I know you guys have to talk to who you got to talk to, but can you let me know what your boss says about this? And they're like, yeah, I totally get it. I didn't know this had been delayed so much. They went downstairs, came back up like 4 minutes later, and they were like, yeah, our boss told us that this is like a project that's been delayed a bit. And we might have to stay a little later than we were planning on, but 100% we'll get the window done. We still can't get the retaining wall, but we will get the sump pump included. And I was like, okay, yeah. And in addition to that, is there some sort of plastic wrap, something you could do on the external just to guide additional water away from this big pit? I know you're saying it's probably going to be fine, but for my peace of mind, I would really appreciate it. And they were like, I don't really know. We can figure something out there for you. We'll figure out a way to, get some plastic wrap up and guide it away or some shit. And it was like, and then it all went smooth and they were friendly all day. And
If I live closer to you, we'd scam these guys so hard. Like the next time they showed up, I would be in the pit, upside down, unconscious. I would be in there when they showed up.
Look what happened to my friend, and they're like, "Why are his pants off?"
This is unsafe.
He sleepwalks. Oh my god! I told you this was going to happen. He does a few laps around the house every night. He must have. You okay in there? And I was like, I don't feel my legs.
If only there was a retaining wall.
If only there was a retaining wall. Those were his last words. I promise. I recorded them. He said, "Please help! Stop recording." And I said, "I have to get this."
Call my dad at the law practice. They need to know what happened.
Just throw you over my back fence. But yeah, it's going smoother now.
Yeah. Another thing, and I know we've talked about this in the show at least 3 times, but don't use bad words, right? Keep them on your side. Dude, the second you say like, this is bullshit, oh my God, suddenly these virgins have never heard this word before. And the real problem is your attitude, your aggressiveness, and how combative you are. And let's change the topic and pivot to how hurt my feelings are now. And you're heckin' construction worker, bro. I know you know all these words, but don't let them. It's an out for them. Don't give it to them.
Yeah,
we're carpenters in Christ, bruh.
So true, but strictly figurative, not the hammering type. But yeah, that's it. You got to keep people on your side in all these situations. I remember when I was working at the rental car place. Every once in a while, someone would call up and be like, "Hey, do you have a iPad? Got left there like half an hour ago." It's like, I bet I do, if that fucking snaggletooth crack addict didn't already steal it. And if they were friendly, like I wanted to like immediately go down and help them. If they were like a douchebag and they were like, "Hey, 4 days ago, I returned a Honda Odyssey and I left a laptop in it." And it's like, okay, let me check. Who have you spoken to before? And he's like, "Well, no one." And it's like, I want to be like, 4 days? That's sold. Like that only has not been stolen. It's been actively sold by one of these
pawn shops.
Like, why are you being a dick to me? And now I'm going to do some goose chase where sometimes I would joke with people where I'd be like, "Well, after 4 days, I can't tell you if we have your iPad or not, but you can have as many sunglasses from our bin as you please."